I remember the sound of my father's shoes on the kitchen tiles. They were old leather dress shoes, the kind he wore to work before the work stopped. They made a hollow click, a sound that woke me in the dead of night, a sharp, lonely report that echoed through the quiet house. He would walk from the kitchen window to the living room window, then back again, pacing, restless sentinel, our small patch of suburbia at night. He watched the yard with an intensity that felt alien. Later, much later, I understood he was watching for ghosts, waiting for something that was already inside to finally show its face outside. His mind did not shatter all at once, more like a slow, creeping erosion, water wearing down stone. The hollow click of his shoes became the metronome of my anxiety. Getting into an Ivy League school was supposed to be my escape. It was the golden ticket, the clean break from the decaying house on Elm Street, the ghost who haunted it. I packed my bags with a frantic sense of hope, believing that 400 miles of distance and the weight of serious, important books could build a fortress around my mind. For a while, it almost felt like it was working. I buried myself in the library, the scent of old paper and binding glue a comforting balm. I took copious notes in lectures, my pen scratching across the page, a sound that was blessedly my own. It should have felt like safety, like a new beginning carved out of sheer will. It did not. At night, I would walk the campus. The ornate lamps cast long, skeletal fingers of light, shadows that looked like bones. I walked from the clock tower to the science building and back again. With every step on the cold flagstones, I could feel my father's restless energy rising in my legs. I was wearing his invisible shoes, and they made the same hollow sound on the pavement. I went to a few parties, stood in crowded rooms with a plastic cup in my hand, the bass thumping in my chest. But the conversations felt distant, and my mind snagged on my father staring at his own reflection, his face a mask of confusion and terror. The harder I tried to be normal, the more the past asserted itself. The thoughts came like a change in the weather, a sudden cold front moving into a warm room. They did not feel like my own thoughts, not at first. A small, persistent itch behind my eyes, a low hum of static at the edge of my hearing. The voice in my head, sounding like my own, started assigning blame for things that could not be blamed. The rain was someone's fault. The late bus was malice. A stranger's look was a hidden conspiracy. I decided I had to fight it. I was not him. I was sane. I was in control. Rule 1, no whispering to walls. Rule 2, no checking locks more than once. Rule 3, no walking the same path more than twice. Rule 4, do not listen for sounds that are not there. For a few days it worked. It was exhausting. The rules lasted for less than a week. One afternoon I froze before an old barber shop. Same cracked green tiles my father favored. A tinny tune from the 70s. His song drifted out. My hand trembled against the cold window. I turned and walked fast. The music wove through the alleys, chasing me toward the campus gates. That was the first undeniable sign, not just memory, not just stress. It was a curse, a song I was destined to learn. The dreams became more frequent, more vivid. I would dream of the house on Elm Street, distorted, smelling of lemon cleaner and stale bread, the clock stuttering, time wrong. He stared at empty plates. His eyes were a flat shade of gray. When I woke, the dream sat at the edge of my bed, waiting for me to sleep again. I used to think the worst thing was the fear. I was wrong. The worst is the shape the fear makes, the actions it compels. Last Tuesday, clearing a pile of notes, I found a folded piece of paper in a textbook. It was unmistakably mine. It contained only 2 words. Go watch. I tried to remember writing it. Nothing. It smelled faintly of lemon and old bread. I tried to explain it. The thoughts that weren't mine. The note. I watched friendly concern curdle into careful pity. Later, I saw them glance at me like a problem to be managed, a piece of cracked glass. One night, I decided I would not sleep. I would outlast the dream. A message from an unknown number. He waits. My hands went cold. I typed, "Who?" No answer. The words hung in the air, an invitation and a sentence. I did not decide to go back. I simply found myself on a late-night bus, heading toward my old town. The house was dark. Then that sickly, flickering yellow came alive in the kitchen window. Without thinking, I stopped the bus and stepped into a profound silence. My new sneakers made the old, hollow click on the stone. The door yielded as if it had been waiting for me. The table was set for one. The chair was turned to the wall as if listening. In my own handwriting, sit, watch, finish. I could have run. I did not. The choice was not mine to make. Then a voice came from behind the wall. At first it sounded like me. Then it became his. You see? You see how it lingers. Not shoes on tile. Clicks from within the walls. 1,000 insects chittering in unison. He hummed a sad, looping tune from a forgotten decade, and my lips moved perfectly with it. When the lights returned, I was alone. The plate was clean. A new note. Now you watch. Outside, fresh, small footprints led toward campus, clicking until they were swallowed by the night.